Welcome to Lawyering Outside the Lines. Brooke and Laura here today. We have been operating, as most of you know, as a fully virtual law firm for over 5 years now and have faced plenty of skepticism within and from the profession about the ability to practice law in this unconventional way. However, since COVID, lawyers have been forced to reimagine the practice of law and what it looks like, and have not only adopted some of the aspects of the way that we've been practicing law and the way our firm operates, but also have found that this way is not only possible, it's effective. And so today we are going to share with you 2 myths about remote lawyering that has been debunked during these COVID times.
So myth number 1 is it is necessary, sorry, having trouble with my articles. It is necessary for lawyers and staff to be in person to stay productive and execute their jobs. That's myth number 1. Before COVID, the overwhelming majority of law firms required a continuous physical presence in a traditional brick and mortar office, partly because of the falsehood that belief that if you are working remote, you would slack off or not work at all. Here's the thing. We are all grown-ups. We are professionals. That should never have been an impediment. That's a hard word. Impediment to a work-life balance in law firms anyway. And that honestly also disproportionately affects women. The COVID shutdown has destroyed that misperception of working from home, not only proving that employees can be just as productive and efficient at home, but they might even be more so. The pandemic has forced both men and women to take on remote work while balancing things like virtual schooling with their kids, sharing the home tasks, hopefully further equalizing gender roles within the profession that have held fast to heteronormative defaults and traditional gender norms to this day. COVID has also forced attorneys to work via teleconference for things like court appearances and depositions. Now it's even more obvious that we have ignored, to our own detriment as a profession, the technological advances at our disposal that allow these tasks to be handled more efficiently and provide savings to our clients. Some of these pandemic-forced pivots won't necessarily maintain a virtual status forever, but it has opened doors for flexibility to attorneys for whom traveling poses extraordinary challenges, like disabled attorneys, pregnant female attorneys, and attorneys with significant family demands. We now see that remote meetings help to eliminate inefficiencies, even though sometimes those two could be emails and things like that. And clients are really responding favorably, proving that we do not have to be face-to-face to do our jobs and satisfy our clients. We've mentioned this many times before. You've probably tired of hearing us say it, but you do not need a fancy office to be a good lawyer. If you put the right tools and processes in place, things like practice management, collaboration, communication tools, client portals, all of that, you can really run most of your practice from home or from anywhere you want to. Flexibility with hours will also emphasize using actual work product as a performance metric versus just being in the office.
Absolutely. Myth number 2, you cannot build a work culture remotely. So there are plenty of quality people out there who are completely willing and able to work well from a home or remote environment. You just need to create a culture that is going to attract that talent and create clear expectations for yourself and others. And this also will allow you the ability to attract a more diverse talent pool to your firm. So here are some suggestions for creating a killer remote culture for your firm. You want to make sure that everyone on your team is familiar with your values. So you can accomplish this by how you interact with one another, by expressing gratitude, by explaining your why in business and even in life. So you hear Laura and I sometimes will come on here and do a whole discussion or individually about our why we are here in life, why we started the firm, why we are doing the things that we're doing. And so That's really important to show that aspect too, the purpose behind what you're doing. And be sure to ask your employees about themselves, and also what their why is, what they hope to achieve, how they hope to contribute to your firm. You can do all those things remotely. You also want to make sure that you have a solid communication plan in place, tools in place, processes in place for communication, because communication is vital in a remote environment. So for instance, we use an instant messaging system for our team to collaborate internally, and that is very helpful. And we have other ways to collaborate with our other tools, but that is our central system for communication. You also want to create best practices and policies, and also procedures that are uniform across the firm. That way you have brand consistency in your workflow, in your product. Your clients are all getting the same treatment, and everyone knows what to expect. You want to make sure to train on that up front and make sure that everyone is on the same page. And you also want to make sure that you're training them very thoroughly on the technology that you use. So it doesn't do any good. Well, first and foremost, you need to understand the technology you use inside and out, at whatever level you are in your firm. But it's not going to do you any good. You're not going to be any more efficient if you're not fully utilizing the technology you have, or if your team does not understand how to use the technology. And there's also the whole, duty of technological competence that we as attorneys have imposed upon us. So very important. And you also want to be human. Take the legalese out of it. You don't have to be stiff and stern just to run a law firm. We are also humans. We're humans first. So you want to care about your employees' lives. Obviously, there's boundaries there, but you want to intentionally chat about it. You want to make them feel like they are, a part of the team. You want to be inclusive at all levels. You also want to set regular meetings for online and also in person, if that's a thing that you want to do. Laura and I have weekly meetings every Monday. We schedule them. We know what we're going to talk about. We have an agenda. Those help to keep people on task, to keep people on the same page and keep people organized. So that's really important as well. And you also want to plan fun stuff, like virtual happy hours, virtual coffees, and even maybe send appreciation gifts for certain periods of time that they're with you, or accomplishments with the firm. You just really want to recognize them. And you also want to build a virtual community, which is something that's been very important for Laura and I. We're structured a little bit differently than most law firms because we do not have a partnership track. We are a collection of individual law firms that license with an entity to operate under the MyVirtual.Lawyer brand. And so as part of that, we are all remote all over the place. And so it's really important to have a place where you can all come together, you can share ideas, you can collaborate, you can support each other and grow. And so don't overlook the value of building that virtual community as well.
Exactly. So just kind of to wrap up, law firms that embrace what they have learned from the pandemic and continue to innovate have proven to be more profitable and resilient. We've got to move forward. We need to be more forward thinking as a profession, as attorneys, more inclusive, more client centric. Doing so is vital to attracting, retaining, and supporting diverse talent and winning over clients as well. So thanks for joining us today, and we will see you here next week on Tuesday at 1 Eastern, 12 Central, 11 Mountain, and 10 Pacific. Have a great rest of your week.